We're going to have a nice little move around now. Take your left leg behind the right, take your left arm up and over the shoulder, and just reach away to stretch. A nice deep breath through the left side of the body. Come back to center. The right leg goes behind the left, and we'll take another reach over. Back to center now. Let's step the legs nice and wide. We're going to open up the knees, come down into a deep squat, using our squat to stretch open the adductors and mobilize the hips. We'll come all the way up to stand. The arms can come over the shoulders. Breathe in as we sit. Breathe out as we stand. Just another 3 like this. Start getting the blood moving through the system. Start waking up our lymphatic drainage system. Start cleansing our bodies with oxygen. Lovely work. So we can step to the end of the mat. We'll take another breath in as we feel our weight earth through each foot. We'll take a breath out as we allow the chin to just drop towards the chest. Really getting a sense of the neck bones opening, allowing the shoulder blades to just slowly slide apart. The knees are soft here. That's going to protect your spine, but also help you to feel a little extra stretch on the lumbar spine. Now eventually, perhaps the hands reach the floor, maybe you need to bend your knees. It's up to you. We're going to lower our knees to the mat. In our perfect tabletop position, breathe in as the chest and the tail lift. Breathe out as the tail and the ribs close. We'll do that twice more, breathing in, feeling the breastbone sliding forward to the sky. Breathing out, pushing the mat away with the hands and the knees, creating energy between yourself and the ground. And last one here. Lovely. We're going to keep our spine round now. Sit back to the heels and rock forward to the hands and back to the heels. And just one more time here. Lovely. So we'll creep our hands forward on the mat. We're going to lower ourselves down and onto the belly. The forehead can just rest on the hands. The legs are going to stretch out to the corners of the mat. We're going to tuck the tail between the legs and activate the tummy muscles so we know that this portion of the spine is going to be lovely and still and stable. We're going to exhale as we float the toes away from the floor just a little. And inhale as they lower down. Again, exhale. We're lengthening the legs so much that the toes just take off from the ground. But really, we're just using the glutes to float the thigh bones away from the mat. This time you'll exhale as the legs lift, and then as you inhale, push yourself up and away from the floor, just as far as it feels right to you. Exhale as you lower yourself down, using your glutes to float the thighs up. And we'll just do 2 more. The further away from your body your hands are, the easier this lift is going to be. So feel free to just walk the hands away so you're not having to extend quite so much if you prefer. And there's our last one. We'll come down, click the heels together now. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Nice. The closest leg to me is going to bend. We'll push the foot over the body to the other side of the room and feel a stretch through the waist. If you want a really extreme stretch, you could float the chest away from the floor now as well. Up to you. We'll bring ourselves back down to the ground if we lifted. Take ourselves to the center. The furthest leg from me bends, lifts, presses all the way over. Perhaps just relax the body down onto the mat for the stretch. Perhaps peel the chest away from the ground like a twisted up cobra. And we just give the spine a second or two to adapt. We'll come all the way back down now. The knees are side by side. The hands are just going to come underneath the shoulders. And we'll push ourselves up and away and into a 3/4 plank. Okay, so we've got shoulders, hips and knees all in one line. We're going to stretch out just one leg and tuck the toe under and make sure that that feels fine to us. We're going to stretch out the other leg, tuck the toe under, and now we're in front support, or plank. We're going to float the left toes away from the floor and kick the leg up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and replace that toe. Change to the right side now, just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Replace that foot, hips go up into the air, and heels can sink into the mat. And now we'll just have a little break here. Imagine that you have balloons attached to your sit bones, making them float higher. Weights attached to your heels, sinking them into the floor deeper. Lovely. The knees are going to float back down to the ground. And we're going to lie down on our side, facing each other. You can rest your head on your upper arm, and both knees are going to start bent. We'll stretch out the top leg, support ourselves with a hand on the floor. We're going to circle that leg forward towards me, breathing in, breathing out as the leg goes up and over the hip, trying our best not to flatten the waist into the mat or arch the spine. So at the moment we're using the upper body for a lot of support. That helps us to be lovely and stable and still through the body. But if you want to make it more challenging, the fingers can come to the temples. So we lose that support, making sure that our elbow is pointing towards the ceiling all the time. That way we know the shoulders are stable. And we're getting ready to change direction now. We need to exhale as we press the leg back, tucking the tail under, activating the tummy muscles. Inhale as you bring the leg down with control ahead of you without touching the waist into the mat. Just another 2. I can really feel that. Feels good. Lovely. The leg comes down. We can hold onto that leg with our lower hand and let the top arm reach back. Either exhaling here or yawning here. To really let go of some tension. Okay, so back in the room. We're going to come back to each other with head resting on the upper arm, still with the hand supporting you. The waist is still lifted. We're going to lift the top knee away from the lower knee into our nice, simple clam. The knees come back down together, breathing in, breathing out as we open the top knee. So we should really feel this in glute medius here. Now the problem with this one, as you've probably heard me bang on about millions of times, if we open the knee and then the hip rolls back, we're not really doing anything for the glutes. So we've got to imagine that there's a brick wall behind you, stopping that top hip from rolling back. It will probably mean that the leg doesn't go as high, but you'll definitely feel it more. Let's just go for another 2. And here's our last one. Now let's push ourselves up and away from the mat. We'll take what was the top leg and cross it over the lower leg. Take a twist towards your knee, give the knee a little hug, let your hip just melt into the mat. And a breath here. Lovely. Awesome. So, onto the other side. Have yourself a lie down. Head resting on the arm. Both knees start bent. We can feel that the pelvis is in a nice neutral position with our waist lifted. The top leg can lengthen. We're going to swirl the leg forward as you breathe in. Breathing out as the leg travels up and over the hip. Stable through the spine and the pelvis. It's surprising how much work you're actually doing on the lower side of your body to stabilize. So think about the glutes on the lower side. Think about how the leg is pressing into the floor to stop you from rolling around like I've got a fish in my head, you know. Anyway, Ray might have to cut that bit out later. Last circle to go up and over. Ready to reverse. Exhaling, pressing back, tummy muscles switch on, pelvic floor really holds you stable, and breathe in as the leg floats down like a feather. I'm going to take my supporting hand away for the last two just to make it a little bit more challenging. Nice. So the leg can come down. We'll take hold of that top leg with the lower hand. The top arm is just going to stretch back. And then when we're ready, we'll come back together again. The knees are one on top of the other. We're using our top hand for support, waist is lifted, going into our clamshell. You have your brick wall behind you, stopping your hip from rolling back. Exhale as you lift. Inhale as that knee lowers, absolutely controlled. As the knee touches the other knee, it feels as soft as cotton wool. You've got so much control. Hopefully you can really feel this now. Last three. And there it is, well done. Okay, let's come up, have a sit. Top leg crosses over lower leg. Take a twist towards the knee, look over the shoulder, and let that sore bum cheek just melt into the mat. Lovely. Okie dokie, so we're going to make our way down onto our backs. So far, everything we've been doing has been pretty safe and friendly for a tummy split, but if you have a tummy split, you'll go down onto your side before you come onto your back. The knees are into the chest, the arms are down by the sides. The legs are going to lengthen over the chest, over the hips. We'll split the legs, one forward, one back. Top ankle flexes, and then we'll split them again. This time it's a double kick to get a little bit more out of the hamstrings. Also, if you do not have a diastasis, you do not have osteoporosis, you could take a twist towards that top leg now, each time it comes up for its double kick. If you're double kicking with me, that's our last one. We'll bring our arms out to the side of the mat, palms facing up. I've got my left leg in the air. Why don't you join me? We'll go into one leg circle. Left leg reaches over to the right, breathing in. Breathing out as we circle out towards the left. Press the right hip down into the mat so that it doesn't roll away from you. Keeping absolute control over the pelvis all the way through. We're only doing 3 each way, on each leg. That's 12. Breath out as we take the leg all the way out, the other way around. Breath in as we bring it across the body. Each time you exhale, the rib cage plunges into the floor. You can feel the intercostals switching on, the diaphragm working. Our deepest core muscle, transversus, squeezing, constricting the abdominal contents. This is why Pilates is so good for the digestion. Left leg can come down, right leg can come up. Breath in to prepare. Breath out as we go. Oh, sorry, let me change the breathing. Let's have a breath in as we take the leg over. And a breath out as we circle the leg away. Now I just want to talk about the abdominal contents thing a little bit more while you're doing one leg circle. So every time we exhale, if we can really fully exhale, our deepest core muscle, transversus abdominis, actually smushes up our intestines, helps everything to move and everything to stay mobile in there, which is of course what we all want. We'll pause here and reverse now as you exhale, the leg seamlessly circles around the hip with a nice even circle all the way. Coming up for our last one. Nice work. The knees are going to bend. We can pop the feet in line with the hips. You give the hips a little wiggle. Just readjust the back. Move the shoulders away from the hips. Lengthen the neck. Arms can come down by the sides. Take a nice slow breath in. As you exhale, feel as though you're blowing your tailbone away from you. It begins to gently peel from the mat, gradually taking each vertebra away from the floor, one by one. The shoulder blades stay heavy and supportive. The neck is totally relaxed. Take a breath. Exhale. First the ribs, and the rest of the spine. Eventually lower down into the floor, bone by bone. Breathing in as the pelvis rolls forward. The tailbone opens onto the mat. Breathe out, pelvic floor pulls the tailbone back to the pubic bone. The tummy muscles pull the pubic bone up to the ribs. The ribs stay nice and stable at the top, and a breath in. And down we go, last one. Beautiful work. Now, get your feet into a lovely comfortable position if you need to adjust them at all. We're going back up into our bridge and holding it here. The left knee floats up and over the hip. The left hip drops out to the side, breathe in. The left hip lifts back in line, breathe out. Twice more, trying to really use the right glutes to their fullest. Now we're going to hold it here. The right heel lifts 5 times. 4, 3, 2. Leave the heel up and stretch out the left leg over the body. Slide the leg down to the floor, all the way back to the ceiling. If it's too much to stay on the toes of that right leg, then please bring the heel down. We've just got one more like this. And we're there. Right heel down, left foot down. Now we can lift the hips all the way back to bridge. The right foot floats away from the floor. Right knee floats down towards the mat. Right hip rotates out. Exhale to pull the hip back into place. We're using the left glutes, we're using the left adductors, the tummy muscles, we're using the obliques, lots of muscles in the lumbar spine, around the lumbar spine. That was our last one there. So now the left heel lifts. 5, 4, 3, still trying to keep the hips high. 2, 1, leave the heel up, stretch out the right leg. It slides through the air to the ground. 3, 2. Remember that heel can come down if it must. 1, and heel down. We can bring the feet side by side. We're going to start to rock the pelvis from left to right, dropping one side then the other, gradually lowering the spine down to the mat from our wiggly bridge. Nice. So cross your left ankle over your right knee, grab hold of your right thigh and bring the legs towards you into a little bit of a hug. We're going to rock from side to side just to let the left glutes release. And then we can change legs. Right leg crosses over, hold on to the left thigh. And again, a little rock from left to right. We're going to do my favourite stretch of all, happy baby. Bring the feet together, so you're holding onto your feet. Open the feet away from each other, and then we're just going to rock from side to side. This one looks silly, but actually it does quite a lot for the hips, the sacroiliac joints, the lumbar spine. If you feel like it, maybe stretch the legs out. Oh, another yawn of tension releasing away. Nice work. The legs are going to come back together. The feet are going to come down to the ground one by one. We'll roll onto our sides, come up to sitting